Please understand. Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Epic James.
So James is back on the show. Today we're going to talk about E3, Nintendo's E3 to be detailed, because I know you guys like that. So here we go. Let's start with our opinions on everything we saw for the Nintendo Direct today. I've got my trusty notes. So starting off, we saw the inclusion of Mii's in Smash Brothers. What is your thoughts?
Well, that's a pretty amazing idea, because it splits your Mii's into 3 classes, which actually points out there are only really 3 classes to begin with. It was the Brawler, the Weapons, and what was the other one? It was the Shooter.
Guns, yeah. Shooter. I like this because you can now make any character. It's interesting, but is it a gimmick? That's my question. You know, I'm just going to go off the cuff here and just say what I thought when I saw it. To me, it's just you in the game with your face on it with 3 different options and options to change all the special moves.
Yeah.
Out of like 15 special moves. So you can kind of design your own character. Is it limited? Not really. I don't know what to say about it because it's just me characters in the game now. Like it wasn't. I don't know.
Well, the thing about the customization of the special moves is it's potentially game breaking, because the only reason Smash Brothers works is because all the characters are designed to fight with each other. Once you bring in customizable moves, that changes everything. So someone's gonna come up with one really incredible set, and everyone's just gonna use that character. It's gonna be Star Fox all over again, right?
Yeah, so it has to be very balanced to fit into the game here. So until we play it, until we see what happens online and all of that stuff, we won't know if it's unbalanced, but I'm assuming they've balanced it out. So, you know, it's one of those things that we need to try. Big news after that, Amiibo,
yes. Skylanders Nintendo thing.
So finally we get to see what that little chip was in the gamepad. What does it do? Well, you can use characters and you can use them in all sorts of different games. It's not just one game. So that's kind of what's unique about this.
Yeah.
Is it really a unique thing? Not so much. We've seen it with Skylanders, like you said before, as we were watching it. The idea that it will be in Mario Kart, I do love that idea. I do love the idea of that being in Mario Kart, but I'm kind of curious, like, what the hell is it going to do? Like, you popping on and...
Yeah, well, I have a feeling with the success of Mario Kart 8 that was sort of an afterthought that they just threw in. It's like, oh, well, and it's also going to work with Mario Kart, you know.
I don't know what to think. Yeah, it'll work with Mario Kart, Mario Party 10, which wasn't even announced in the video, which was strange. Next up was Yoshi's Woolly World, which... to me, looked incredible in terms of graphics. It looked like wool, just like Epi's Yarn or whatever the hell it was.
Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that they've put a little bit more exploring in this.
Yeah.
I was thinking right away, oh my god, here's another just like simple kids game. But they've put that extra layer on. Here's what I'll say honestly. For me to get into these games now, these like sort of kiddish design games, it's a beautiful looking game, but for me, I need a level of skill involved. Like, I need it to be much harder than just looking up, shooting his egg, and revealing something. I need something more.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you look back at Super Mario World, there were so many like secrets embedded in that.
Yeah, well, there are multiple different paths, and that was the key of Mario World. That was the key dynamic of it.
Totally.
You could get from A to B many different ways.
So that's what I need in this game. I need a challenge. I need old school challenge. If that's not in the game, then it's just like another Kirby game. I hope it's nothing like that, but I think we need to be always skeptical when they do these things. I also understand that it needs to be designed for kids and for us. So there's probably that stuff.
Yeah.
Not as much as I hope. I hope it's there. What do you guys think? I don't know about that one. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, which is basically Fez.
Yeah. The key point of the Treasure Tracker, the Captain Toad mini games that were in, what was that, Mario 3D World?
Yeah.
The key was that, like, you control the level as opposed to controlling Toad, almost, right?
Yeah.
Like, you sort of have to work together with them.
Well, let's just say it's Fez.
Yeah,
it really
it's Fez.
is Fez.
It's Fez. Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Fez, but you can't jump, so that's kind of infuriating.
It is, but it's supposed to be a puzzle game. Now, is this going to be a full disc release? We don't know. It comes out next year, apparently.
Yeah, it better be DLC, I'd say. That would be cool.
It would be cool if it was DLC, or if it was just like a $40 mini game disc. disc. I don't know, $30.
I'd pay 10.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things like, are we going to actually pop in and really just play over and over and over again? Is it going to be a continuous story in there? How's that going to work?
Exactly.
We don't really know at this point. Next up, here we go.
All right, get ready.
Legend of Zelda. They didn't put a name on it, but they finally showed the fact that it is Skyrim, essentially. Yeah. And that is all I wanted out of the new Zelda game. It had to be massive. What did you think?
That was incredible. Like, at first they start with the static shot of just the grass and everything like that. Then once that, like, Tektite on steroids comes up and just starts ruining everything is just an amazing moment. Because you don't see that in Zelda games where the enemies are that overpowered.
The other thing I loved about that would be how they're changing the dungeons up. How you can come from different areas. Like, when you used to go up to, just say, let's say Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. You go into the graveyard. There's one way into the graveyard. Mm-hmm. In this, I'm sure there's going to be instances where there's one way into, like, say, a village or something. But I like the idea that when you go into a dungeon, there could be multiple ways to get into the dungeon from outside now.
Yeah.
And not only that, it looks like you can go to any dungeon at any point, if there even is dungeons. And then it also makes me wonder, when you're just walking around, are you in a major dungeon and you don't know that? Yeah. Are you in it? I don't know. Like, that's the sort of thing that I wanted to be in Zelda, just like Skyrim.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that huge bosses, like you said, can just show up and beat the shit out of you, break bridges. I mean, there was so much in that trailer that you wonder about, like, the wall exploded on one side when that enemy came. Is that going to stay that way? Is the bridge going to be knocked out forever? Is somebody going to come along and fix it? What's the level of detail in that? But we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
I did notice his horse, which we don't know if that is the famous horse from Ocarina of Time or not. If it is that horse, I did notice that they definitely have a bond, but the horse actually pushed him up. So that's a move we haven't seen.
Very true.
That is like, to get off your horse, the horse jumped up and he jumped with that. That was incredible to see. Again, we've seen so many Zelda games in the past, so many different variations, A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds. To see A Link Between the Worlds change the way that you actually get weapons in the game, I hope that they stick to that. I hope you don't get dungeon... actually, people are going to be pretty mad. Some people would be mad that I kind of like the new way you acquire things. You buy them.
That was fine, yeah. Well,
so, what do you think? You think we should have that in a Zelda game on a major system?
Well, they covered it they covered the fact that Zelda was based around, you had to do things in order, and so this will be out of order. And they tested that out, as you said, with Link Between Worlds. So I think that can work. But with such a vast open area, I don't know how they're going to do it. If you can go anywhere and do anything, that kind of goes against the Zelda sort of problem-solving and puzzle thing that they have going on. But we'll see. I'm stoked.
I'm super excited for it because it's a Zelda game and it's open world now, and it's like, holy shit, it's Skyrim.
Yeah.
But things that we saw on screen, we've seen in Skyrim. We've played it in Skyrim, so it's kind of like, is that going to be enough? We don't know. So I'm not going to overhype it and go insane here until we actually see what they're talking about in terms of these dungeons being accessible from over mountains and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's just saying things that we've seen in Skyrim 5 years ago. Like, you can walk to that mountain. Yeah, we can do that before. So, are you guys just behind the times, or is this something we just don't understand yet?
Very good point. Very good point. We've seen 10 seconds, so it's hard to say.
It's hard to say. The rumors were right. There was something called Mario Maker, which I thought it was only on 3DS, but it looks like it's on Wii U as well.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh yeah, that's an amazing idea. People have been doing this for years, making their own ROM hacks. I used to make them, but it does really get troll-tastic when people start making their own levels. It's really hard to make a level that's not incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Because the instant thing you want to go is like, oh, I'm going to set a bunch of traps, and no one has fun playing it.
The other thing is they didn't really show much variation in the bricks and how detailed that's going to get. If it's just a simple little editor just for Mario 1-1 levels, that's interesting, but how much can that really cost? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it going to be Little Big Planet in detail? I doubt it. I think it's just something that's kind of like a $10, here we go, make some levels. I really hope it isn't, though. I hope it's a full game where you can make Super Mario 1, 2, and 3 levels and all that stuff and use those blocks and whatnot. But from different games, right? Because there was different designs for each game, so I hope that it would be interesting that you can go into each one, but I just don't think it'll be that. I think it's just Mario 1 and Mario Wii U.
Yeah, which is the same thing. But there were also some new power-ups in there. There was, like, the skinny mushroom.
Which turned him flat to Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means. I think it's just sort of an art design decision. I don't know what ability it actually adds to it. Next up, something that was very unexpected is Splatoon. Now, first things first, everyone's probably right now harping on this, being like, holy shit, what a kid's game. But I knew that Nintendo needed to make something that was a shooter, but it couldn't be like, hey, there's blood and guts. What do you think?
It's sort of like, it's more akin to like something that's Team Fortress 2 or something like that. A team game. It's super cartoony, but you're all working towards the common goal instead of your own personal goal. Basically, that's the most important part, right?
So, lastly here, well, you know what I have to say about... at first I looked at it and was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is just another Nintendo, like, side project, it felt like. But then they kind of got into more detail of the mechanics of the game. You can turn into a squid and actually swim. Well, let's explain it. You have to shoot your ink onto the level, just like in Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario Sunshine. There was that sort of ink all over the place, or whatever the hell it was in that game, and you cleaned it up. This is kind of the opposite, where you paint your level, and the winner is the team that paints more of the level.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting part is you can turn into a squid and swim within your own ink, but when you go into the other team's ink, you get stuck. Now, in terms of playability, there was so much going on. Like, you can jump to any character using the Wii gamepad, just hit the teammate and you go boom and you fly over to him in squid form. I do like the fact that you can paint the ground.
The steamroller thing, that was amazing. That shows you that there will be a variety of power-ups.
Totally. So once you kind of break past the silly, goofy surface of it, it seems like there's a lot of really cool gameplay elements in this, and if you can get past the childish sort of, usual Nintendo side of it, it might be a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I'm excited about it, but I can't say like it pushed me over the edge because we just didn't see enough yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to be like, we need to see some hands-on.
The only thing that turned me off on that was the art style. For some reason, it just didn't mesh with me. It wasn't that it was cartoony. There was just something about it I didn't like.
I know.
But whatever. That's just nitpicky, but still.
What if they just dropped Nintendo characters in there?
They probably will.
I almost feel like it should have been Mario.
Yeah, exactly.
Something Sunshine-based.
Yeah, so
they could have went that route.
Yeah, Delfino, whatever. Yeah, so just watch out for that.
Delfino Warfare.
Super Smash Splooge HD.
Overall, the conference showed these incredible things, but we didn't see that much of them. We saw some things that we've never seen before, which would be the developers talking about their games, and that was something unique to this. Xbox and Sony never had the developers kind of sit back and go, this is why we decided to do this. They talk about why they made the new Yoshi game in Yarn. They talk about why this new Squid game exists. They talk about Star Fox? Not really. This is where it goes kind of a little loopy for me. The beginning of the conference, amazing. It was hilarious. That whole fight sequence between the Reginator and Iwata.
Amazing. You never see that.
Please take a look. It was awesome to see. They have a sense of humor. They made fun of themselves with like, hey, is there a new Mario game here? No, there isn't. He kills him. It's like, holy crap, this is pretty funny. It went slowly downhill as it went. And it wasn't that I wasn't excited about the games. It was just the way that they chose to cut off one of the biggest game announcements to something that hasn't even, as we're recording this, hasn't even happened yet. And the only reason we know about it is Time Magazine leaked it, which you said...
Yes, from a interview with Miyamoto.
Yeah.
So you know it's legit, and they leaked it an hour before the conference by accident. Which now we know probably was on purpose.
No, it was for sure. It was to be like, oh, there's a Star Fox game, now you have to tune in and watch the rest of all of this coverage, which is like 24 hours worth. Yeah. You don't even know when it's going to appear. So overall, all the conferences, I haven't made videos for the other ones yet. Those are coming up, but I just think that everything this E3 was on par.
Yeah.
And to leave Star Fox out of your main presentation is risky.
Oh, definitely.
It's very risky because now people don't even know it exists unless you're a hardcore Nintendo fan who's going to sit there and watch 24 hours of footage, live footage of Smash Brothers tournaments, and then waiting for Miyamoto to show up and be like, here it is, the game we've been working on for 6 years.
Yeah.
If you work on a game for 6 years and don't show it during your briefing, there must be something incredible there that when we see it, we're going to be blown away. Like, we need to be blown away at this point because that's their sort of like their gem is just sitting there.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think overall? What did you think overall?
Overall, this E3 in general was the same, I guess. Each conference starts out strong and just slowly, like, peters out.
So, James, thanks for showing up for the Nintendo.
No problem.
If you don't know who James is, check out his channel below. What do you do on your channel, sir?
I do awesome guitar remixes of video game covers, and I make music videos for them, so it's quite interesting. Go check it out.
So, also, I'd like to point out our Facebook group. If you don't know about that, link in the inner bar. That's where you can find out all of our new videos, which I put up. It's hard to put up in a schedule for you guys because I don't know when games are coming out sometimes, and I don't know when I'm going to get them. So, that's where you'll find all of our new stuff. We also have a Patreon page where you can sign up and basically get some cool things off the set and whatnot. That's a link in the ender bar as well. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks to ANC Games for supplying all the games on our show, and Chop Shop Goods for giving us these cool shirts right here. I'm wearing a Titanfall shirt, and you can buy these all at Chop Shop Goods. Link in the ender bar for that. See you for the next press conference video. Thank you. I don't know why we kissed. Please take a look.